God will never call you to an easy mission. I'm going to say that again. God will never call you on an easy mission. Anytime that you're about to change the world, anytime that you're about to make a difference, whether it be in your family, in your community, in your country, God will never call you on an easy mission. And here's what I mean by this. God will never call you on a mission that does not require His intervention. He'll never call you on a mission that does not require that you would completely depend on Him. And I want to start by saying we have to do away with this idea, with this superstition, that if it's not easy, then it's not meant to be. Many of us have to work this out of our heads, that if it's not easy, then it's not meant to be. If things are not coming easily to me, if I thought that God called me on this mission, but I wake up in the morning and it's not easy, I wake up in the morning and there is no provision, I wake up in the morning and I don't know where I'm going to get the resources, I don't know where I'm going to get the funds to start this, to do that, to build this, I don't know because nobody is answering my calls. And then we say, then surely it's not meant to be. Can I just tell you this? So many people have missed out on what could have changed their lives. So many people have missed out on great opportunities because you convinced yourself that just because it's not easy, then it's not meant to be. Just because it doesn't come to me easily, just because I didn't just roll off the bed and have everything working out in my favor, then it's not meant to be. As if you and I do not have any real opposition. As if you and I are not meant to face anything that would try to take us off of our mission. It is not true that just because it's not easy, just because it's not happening when you thought it was going to happen, how you thought it was going to happen, then it's not meant to be. God will never call you on an easy mission. So let me tell you like this. So many people have missed out on great relationships, life-giving relationships. For some people, it's relationships with friends, some with spouses. But just because it just wasn't working out the way you thought it was going to work out, as easily as you thought it was going to work out, then we convince ourselves that surely it wasn't meant to be, because if it was meant to be, then it would have worked out when I thought it was going to work out, how I thought it was going to work out, under my conditions. So I'm saying to you today that God will never call you on an easy mission. You go back into the Bible and you look at all the great men that God has called, all the great men and women that God used to change the world, to start revival, to start a revolution. You look at in our time, you look at the generations that came before us. In South Africa, we keep on celebrating them with all kinds of holidays. Women who did phenomenal things, men and women who did phenomenal things, young people who stood up and did phenomenal things. It wasn't easy. No one said it would be easy. No one said it's supposed to be easy. And so we have to do away with this idea, get it out of your head, that just because it's not easy, it's not meant to be. You go back, you look at the story of Abraham. God calls him out of what he knows, what he is used to, what he is comfortable with. And God calls him to a place and he says to him, go to a place that I will show you. God makes all kinds of promises that go against nature itself, saying, I will give you a child in your old age. Between you and your wife, I will give you a child as old as you are. I'm going to make you into a great nation. I'm going to do phenomenal things in and through your life. You just have to believe me. And you know what he does? He packs up and he gets on his way. It wasn't easy. You look at the likes of Jonah. In the book of Jonah, you see Jonah running away, literally running away from the will of God, literally running away from the mission that God is calling him on. Why? It's not easy. We see him running away, a man of God, a man who used to speak on behalf of God, a seer, a prophet, and he runs away because it's not easy. We see it in Jesus calling his disciples, and when he calls them, when he speaks to them about this life that's ahead of them, he says to them, you are going to have to lay your life down. Give up your life. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. And we get to see it in the life of a man called Moses. We know all about the parting of the Red Sea. We know all about water that comes gushing out of a rock. We know all about the plagues. We know all about Pharaoh letting the people of God go. But you know what God does? When God calls Moses, he says to Moses, I want to tell you something, Moses. What you're about to do is going to be really, really difficult. God says to him, I have heard the cries of my people. I have seen what my people are going through, and I want to do something about it. So I am calling you, Moses. I'm going to use you. You are going to partner with me, and we are going to rescue my people. You know what he goes on to say to Moses? He says to him, but I am going to harden the heart of Pharaoh. I want you to go and tell him to let my people go, but I am going to harden his heart. I'm going to make it very difficult. And when it's difficult, when he refuses to let the people go, when he refuses to do what it is that you are asking him to do, then I will reach out and I will put my hand on Pharaoh. I am going to make sure that Pharaoh does what you are telling him to do. So when God calls us to something, here's how we know. This is very important. How we know that God has called us, how we know, or rather one of the ways that we know that God has called us to this place is that he gives us a mission that is so much bigger than us that it requires heavenly intervention. A mission that is so much bigger than us that we lie awake at night and we say, God, if you don't show up, then nothing will happen. God, if you don't get involved, I will not get this right. God, if you don't reach out, if you don't provide, if you don't take care of this, if you don't take care of me, then I have nothing. And this is exactly what it looks like when God calls a man, when God calls a woman. So I say to you today, and you might even be thinking to yourself, I remember the times when I stepped away because I thought it wasn't meant to be. Why? Simply because it was not easy. For some of you, you stepped away from an amazing business opportunity, an incredible opportunity that would have changed your life, changed your family's life. And you walked away because you woke up day after day and it was difficult. For some people, you walked away from a relationship. Things got a little bit rocky, became difficult. Things were not as easy as you thought it would be. And you walked away saying if it was meant to be, then it would easily be. That's not it. That is not the truth. One of the greatest deceptions is believing that if it was meant to be, then it would be easy. It's not true at all. So here's what I'm saying to you. As you look at your life, as you look at your situation, as you look at the mission that you are on right now, because for some of you, see, it is you saying, I'm going to buy my parents a house. For some of you, it is you saying, I am going to be the first one in my family to graduate. For some of you, it is you saying, I am going to be the one that pulls my family out of poverty. God is going to use me to call my cousins out and go get that auntie and get everybody and take care of everybody. And what makes you think that that would be an easy mission when your uncles and grandfathers could not do it? It's not an easy mission. If you're going to be the first one to do it, then surely there is something about this that is difficult, that those who came before you could not do it. But that's no reason to not do it. That is no reason for us to walk away. For some of us, it is you saying, I'm going to build this empire, this company that is going to take care of communities, that is going to take young people to school, that is going to provide for communities. I'm going to create jobs, and I am going to... When you say you're going to do all of that, what makes you think that it's going to be that easy if everybody else is not doing it? Of course, it's not going to be easy. But when God calls you, he calls you on a mission that requires heavenly intervention. When God calls you, he calls you on a mission that requires that you would trust him, that you would have no choice but to call on him, that you would have no choice but to reach out and say, God, it's difficult. And that's when he gets involved. And so I say to you, what is it? Whatever it is that God has called you to, God will never call you to a mission that is easy. God will never call you to a mission that does not need him. And we see it in the life of Moses. We see God saying to him, you go to Pharaoh, and when you get to Pharaoh, I am going to harden his heart. And Pharaoh's heart becomes so hard that Moses and the children of Israel begin to freak out. And they say, God, why did you send me here? Moses says, why did you send me here? Just wait, you'll see why I sent you here. You will see what it is that I'm trying to do. And so the next time that you step up and you see people living, and you say it's easier for you to do, it's easier for you to say because your life is like this and your life is like that, please hear me, please hear me. No one has it easy. No one. No one who has done anything that was significant did it easily. Just the other day, I spoke to someone who's in my life that I have a lot of respect for. He was talking about how when he was building his business, he had a 9-to-5 job that he went to, and when he came back, got in his car and went off to his business and started building this business, and he would come back home at 1 o'clock in the morning and repeat the cycle every single day. And you hear all these things, right? You hear all these things from all these people who have done phenomenal things. You hear mothers, fathers who are doing amazing things for their families just to put bread on the table, just to make sure that they are making a difference in their families' lives, in their communities, in whatever. Speak to anybody who has built anything that is significant. Speak to anybody who has created anything that is worthwhile. It was not easy, and it is not meant to be easy. Otherwise, you and I would have no need for God, and you and I would never, ever have a reason to pray. And I'm not saying that we only pray because we need help, but what I am saying is it is much easier to relax and forget about prayer when I don't need help, when I don't need God to intervene, when I don't need anything from God. It's very easy for me to just sit back and just go on about my life. And so I say to you, just because it's not easy does not mean that God hasn't called you. And we determine today that we are going to do what it is that God has called us to. No matter how difficult it is, no matter how hard it is, we are going to call on Him, and we're going to wait on heavenly intervention for this mission that is bigger than ourselves. No one changes the world unless God intervenes. And so a revival is going to start with us. A revolution is going to start with us. It starts with you and I. But we have to understand that it will not be easy. Today, we're standing on the work of great men and women who laid down their lives because it was worth it. We stand and we look back on the work that was done by people who came before us, who laid down their lives because they were thinking about us. Now, we want to have it easy. It's not going to be easy, but it will be worth it.